Hello and a very warm welcome to today's edition of the show. My name is Jamila and I do hope you're having yourselves a wonderful Sunday evening. Kenya capped its interest rates in an attempt to reduce the cost of borrowing for businesses and individuals. However, this has been met with some resistance and the law is still in Parliament with debates on whether it should go on or should be stopped. That's in our discussion today. However, we check out creativity at its best. Three ladies who are using worn-out tires to make amazing stuff. But first, let's have a look at the property of the week. Golden Oak Villas certainly speaks for itself. It offers modern tropical architecture and minimalistic interiors, providing no distraction from the surrounding landscape. Each of the 10 units stands on a 0.42-acre piece of land and is 90% complete for the construction of all units. The 5-bedroom all-en-suite units have 2 DSQs in every unit with separate toilet and bathroom. The front porch has a Mediterranean design with 4 pillars leading you to the palatial home. 2 solid wooden doors welcome you to the home with an accent frontal wall warmly welcoming you to the overall space. The wall is perfectly lit with a full moon sconce. The guest cloakroom is on the left from the main doors and its wall and floor tiles match perfectly, bringing out a stylish antique feel. It is fitted with a wash basin and wide-length mirror, as well as a socket for any electrical appliance. Wood laminate floors give you a warm underfoot feeling from the corridors leading to the spacious living room. Drawing one's attention without a doubt is the chandelier lighting hanging majestically at the center of the room. The fireplace is no exception with its exquisite glossy finishing. Not many homes offer what can be used as a wine cellar, cask, or for storing beverages, but the case is different here. The design comes complete with MDF cabinets. The gypsum ceiling gives the room an airy feeling and the downlighters complement the look. Large windows from the floor to the ceiling bring an excellent amount of light, and here you may not necessarily need curtains. Another chandelier magnificently hangs in the dining room with a gypsum ceiling also donned in warm downlighters. Sliding doors are a great attribute to the dining. From here is a separate door leading to the spacious backyard which has outdoor lighting features at the corners, hence you do not have to worry about lighting, especially when having parties or events that go into the night. Right next to the dining is the kitchen with its grey floor tiles, a distinct feature from the rest of the wood laminated floors. An island is at the center with a 4-cooker burner and a well-lit hood complete with a vent. The granite countertops blend well with the laminated cabinets and pull-out drawers that have hydraulic hinges. The well-lit corridor from the entrance leads to the guest room. It has sliding windows, floor-to-ceiling wardrobes and ample sockets and TV ports. Bright wall and floor ceramic tiles in brown and beige characterize the washroom. The shower cubicle is at the corner with a sliding door and steel handles. Towel rails and rods are also fitted. A vanity wash basin has a wide-length mirror and storage space beneath it. A water spray coil is next to the toilet, allowing you to easily clean your toilet. For relaxation purposes, this is a TV lounge room. It has ample space for gaming and entertainment. The family lounge is at the end of this first flight of stairs. Here, you can display chases or sofa sets for personal talks or just spending time away from the TV room. A common balcony is at the corner, allowing you to display all of your outdoor accessories and is big enough to even put up a gazebo. 4 rooms are at different corners from the family lounge. The first room directly from the lounge is the smallest room in the house and can be used as a nursery or an office. 2 rooms are similar to the guest room, offering ample space, sliding windows and floor-to-ceiling wardrobe. All the bathrooms have the signature brown and beige wall and floor tiles with shower cubicles, vanity wash basins and steel fixtures. Exhibiting both style and functionality is the master bath. The jacuzzi is definitely eye-catching, and right next to it is the automated toilet that can even warm your seat and has specific options for male and female. The master room has a wallpaper which is meant to be used as a headboard. Chandelier lighting is displayed on wall brackets with twin lights as well. On one side are the MDF boards and cabinets, giving a couple the option of using it as a TV center. An array of wardrobes is displayed in the walk-in closet. Warm-down lighters are dotted on the gypsum ceiling, giving it a perfect finish to the overall space. The balcony at the master room gives it a great view of the development. The pristine Golden Oak Villas offer a prestigious residential setup only 10 minutes walk from the main Langata Karen Road, with easy access to the Galleria Mall, the Hub, Karen, Nairobi Academy and Hillcrest. It also has close proximity to Karen Hospital.
With the agenda 4 of the president, the first one being amongst them being the conservation of the environment, we wanted to do something unique because tires are available. So we decided, why not recycle them and then come up with something that is more attractive, something that someone can use as a decor, as a furniture and all that. We make seats, we make tables, we make flower vessels, flower decorations. We also make play items for schools. The most current one, we made a vessel. We just cut them into shapes and then we make one. But what we really major into is the seats and the tables. Our clients are everyone, but you know, most of the idea is still new to the market. But people who have an outdoor, it's more of an outdoor thing, but also you can use it as an indoor if you have enough space. Instead of using a coffee table, you can use this as a table. Outside, if you have a compound, it's very nice for the compound. It also can be used in restaurants, the modern restaurants, bars. We are also corporate events. We can use them on weddings, birthday parties. They're also very, very nice. So we get them from Caltex, raw tires, the ones that are worn out, but not really worn out, at least in a better condition. We come here, we wash them clean. They dry. After drying, then we do now the spraying, depending on what the customer wants. And then after spraying, we do now the poof, the ones you're sitting on. And then now we do the decoration. If you're putting the one stand with the legs, there are customers who prefer them with the legs. There are those who just want these. And you know, they're also good for your back because now the springing part of it, because it's rubber, it also helps. Trying to do Kenyan things, Kenyan materials, local available materials, so that is now what brings the beauty of it. Our time period is 1 to 2 days, and you should be having your decor ready. But then when the specifications are more, we have to at least now take more time. We market ourselves through customers. One, the customers we've made for. And also we have our own Facebook page, Saj100 Creations, Instagram, Saj100 Creations. Instead of you sitting down and looking for jobs and they're not there, just sit down as a young person, create your own job, become your own boss. And at the end of the day, it might not pay immediately. It has to, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of resilience, but at the end of the day, it does. Create your own job, be your own boss, you'll enjoy it, as opposed to maybe getting frustrated, looking for a job, and at times what you get is not what you want. The returns are not what you want. But when you put more effort on what you do, it becomes much, much better.
Thank you so much for staying with us wherever your search for home is. I do hope it's fruitful. After this short break, our discussion of the day. Don't go away. It's been 2 years since the interest capping law became operational.
What does this mean for Kenyans? Has it helped? And what is the impact of this law? To help us understand more is Dr. Habil Olaka, the CEO of Kenya Bankers Association. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Thank you.
So, how has it been in the market since this law became operational? What is the impact of the law so far?
The law had two aspects. One was to reduce the lending rate in the market then, which was admittedly pretty high. A number of consumers were already feeling the impact of the high rates in the market then. And the law was structured in a way that the maximum lending rate was capped at 4 percentage points above the central bank rate. And the central bank rate then was 10%. So plus the 4%, it means that the rates were capped at 14% maximum. But it also had another angle. On the borrowing side, for the banks that is, in terms of the deposits. So the deposits that were interest earning were to be remunerated at a rate that is at least 70% of the central bank rate. And with the central bank rate at 10%, it means that any interest earning account must be paid for at 7% or above. So the operations of the bank therefore were limited to lending at a maximum of 14 and borrowing from the market at a minimum of 7%. There are a number of studies that have been done by a number of stakeholders, including the World Bank, the IMF, National Treasury, Central Bank, even KB itself has also done some studies to show the impact of the law. And what is coming out is quite clear, that the intentions of the law have not been achieved, both on the savings side and on the credit side. Over the period that the law has been in place, the number of borrowers have decreased by 1.2 million. Now, also the size of the loans have increased. The tickets then were an average of about 500,000 shillings. Now it's almost 800,000 shillings, the average, which means that the borrowers have moved away from the smaller borrower to the larger borrowers, because the larger borrowers are the ones who can easily access credit. So effectively, the law, in a way, is favoring the rich and the well-to-be, the big corporates.
So it's not achieving what it was meant for?
It's not achieving.
Do you think it wasn't properly thought through, or what is the reason for that?
These challenges that you are seeing currently were foreseen and were even highlighted as possible outcomes of the law, because it has been tried in other markets. So most of the markets where caps have been put, they have been put to address a specific challenge, and they are put in a way that it addresses that specific challenge. And you've got examples in Africa, we have got examples in other markets, where you address a particular challenge, like for example the payday loans, which can be very abusive in some markets. So the payday loans, where people become almost like trapped in the payday market. So you get your salary today, you repay your previous loan, and you are on a borrowed amount until the next payday. And the rates can be quite usury. So there are some caps that are normally put to address that particular challenge. Now in Kenya, we put a law that was addressing the full range of markets, but also not only are we putting a cap on the lending rate, we are also putting a floor on the deposit rate, which makes it pretty difficult for it to be applied. No wonder the minister then, after looking at all the evidence available, has come up with a proposal of the fact that he is intending to propose to Parliament, and indeed he has actually proposed to Parliament that this section of the law should be repealed. And in its place, he's come up with a number of alternative measures that he thinks can be able to address the challenges that were available in the market.
So then would that eventually mean that the banks will go back to the high pricing if this law is repealed indeed? Or what does that mean?
The repealing of the law would not significantly affect those who are already borrowing, because those who are already borrowing have been priced at a given risk and found to be fitting within the 14% that the law allows. The biggest problem are those borrowers who are out there who cannot be priced within 14, and therefore they are rejected and they are sitting out there. And so the only alternative they have is to go to informal sector or other alternative borrowing mechanisms. Yet the law was meant to be benefiting them.
So in a nutshell, this was more of a political decision than anything that will actually help the market or the intended people it was meant to.
The argument that was used to support the law in terms of the fact that it was Wanjiku who was being protected. And now, credit is affordable, yes, but not available. I think the biggest problem is access and not necessarily the pricing. Because right now, Wanjiku has got affordable credit and is all over the place. You know, now bank loans are cheap. 14% maximum, in fact right now it's 13.5%. But can you be able to go and obtain it? The answer is obviously no.
So then what happens? She wants to get mortgage. She wants to be able to afford a home, to actually buy a home probably for her family. Then what happens to her if she's not able to achieve that because she doesn't have access? With
the capping of the law, it actually affected the property market as well. Because we saw, for example, the growth in the property prices. We saw a slowdown in the growth of that index, which meant that the market was becoming, subdued. Fortunately, we saw some bit of a rebound early this year. And with the positive prospects that are now beginning to show in 2018, and also possibly just the fact that you have signaled that you are intending to repeal the capping, that sends the right signal to the players, and they start now picking up on some of the things that they had put off from doing from the previous periods.
So, Dr. do you think Parliament will actually repeal this law?
Looking at what happened over the last 2 years, the impact that the law has had on the economy in terms of credit growth, in terms of what was the intention in the first place of the law, and has that intention been achieved? So looking at those parameters, I think the parliamentarians will be wise enough to make the right decision, which is to repeal, but then they are also justified in trying to look for safeguards. What safeguards do you have so that we don't repeal and then we go back to the high rates that we had pre the law coming into place? As KBA, we have also put other measures in place to ensure that the market is, stable. So we have got things like, for example, transparency, which I mentioned about in terms of the cost of credit website. We have got a framework to ensure that our members are also behaving ethically, and there are measures of governance within the banking sector, because that's a challenge that affects a number of sectors, including banking. Okay,
so then what is the way forward for Kenyans?
I think if the law is repealed and we have got the necessary safeguards that safeguard the consumers from abusive behavior, I think we'll see the credit market beginning to pick up again, where the growth of the credit market picks up, and the rightful drivers of the economy, which are the SMEs and the households, can be able to access credit to be able to engage in economic activities that drive economic growth, which means that it translates into economic prosperity for all of us. Then we'll be playing a role in trying to ensure that inequality in society is minimized.
Okay. What is KBA doing about that inequality in the market, and is it possible then for you to work with the government to make the environment better for Kenyans, especially from the low caliber?
Yeah, there's a lot that we have been doing, and in partnership with a number of other players. Like, for example, we have done quite a number of partnership arrangements with the likes of Central Bank. For example, with the National Treasury, we have given proposals to National Treasury in terms of growing our financial inclusion. So financial inclusion for us at the KBA, or as an industry, is a major area, because we believe through financial inclusion you can be able to achieve the necessary equality in wealth distribution. So the more people access financial services, the more enabled they'll be in terms of being able to engage in economic activity that effectively then helps redistribute the wealth.
You have mentioned that this interest capping law has been implemented in other parts of Africa. Has it worked?
Yes, there are a number of countries in Africa where there is some semblance of capping. And a good example I'll give is in Zambia, for example. Zambia tried to implement capping. I think it was in effect just for a little bit under a year before it was repealed, because the evidence was quite clear, and it was quite clear to the players that it's not working. In the UK, for instance, they have got what they call the payday loan. So it's capped at a given percentage, and it's almost like, I think, 20 or 30% per month. So you're talking about a rate that was really abusive, because for you to be capping it at 20% per month, it means that before the capping, it was somewhere where people just get tied up into this kind of thing where on 1 month you get your salary and you use it to repay the existing loan, and then you have to borrow to survive for the next month. So you're just tied in there.
Can we then borrow that? Maybe have those sectional caps?
Absolutely. That's what, at the point when this law was being discussed, those are some of the proposals that we put on the table, in the sense that if you have got a specific problem you are trying to address, and the problem is a specific segment, for example, you can look at putting a cap on a specific segment, so that then you address that specific area. But the problem is that you also need to be sure that when you put a cap, there is an incentive for the credit provider to lend. Because if you go and put a cap on SMEs, for example, at 14, and you don't provide an incentive for the player to lend to that segment, if the cap doesn't make sense, the money will go elsewhere. And that's what has happened in Kenya. The money is now finding itself to lending to governments.
Are we going to see more banks closing then?
As long as the law remains in place, banks will be motivated to look for pockets of efficiency. And you can find pockets of efficiency in starting to look at your branch network, and the ones that are not as profitable, you start closing them down or combining them to ensure that, because you're not seeing growth, you're just trying to maintain your level as it is. My advice would be, we repeal the law so that we can be able to stimulate credit availability for the economic activities that will drive, economic growth in the country. In terms of the concerns about the fact that the cost of credit will go high, we put in the necessary safeguards to ensure that the consumer is not abused, so to speak.
Thank you so much, Dr. Habil Olaka, for your time. We do hope for the best, certainly, and we do hope that the Parliament will actually repeal the law and take care of our concerns and the many concerns that Kenyans have. Thanks. So you've heard it from the CEO. Let's hope and pray for the best.
My name is Julius Njoroge. This is our home, our family home. My house is sitting on half an acre piece of land. When I was buying it was 700,000. Today, I think a quarter here is around 12 million. So if we are talking of half an acre, maybe we could be talking of around 24 M. Yeah, I was looking for a piece of land where I can settle my family. And I was looking for a very quiet place, quiet neighborhood, away from noise that will be associated in many places like Ongatarongai. My first loan I got from Asako, and the loan was still not sufficient, so I kept on borrowing until I had the house finished. At times you may not be able to accumulate enough funds to do it at once. So if you borrow, build your house to the standard or to the level that you can be able to repay, then I think it is the best way, because now if you want to rent, you choose renting, it is much different, because the amount of money that you would have spent in rent, you can utilize it to pay to pay your loan, to repay the loan. From the SACCO, it's very cheap. It's 1% per month, which is 12% per year. And considering it is on reducing, most SACCOs give loans on reducing balance. So you find you are paying much less than the 12% per annum. I was dreaming of a similar house like you can see behind the house you are seeing behind me. This is the kind of a house I was dreaming about that time. But because of the changes that we have seen, you know, when you travel, you find like you still have not achieved like what others have achieved. So if I was to do another house today, maybe I'll do it differently. Infrastructure, we have a disadvantage because of the road networks around this area. The roads are quite congested, so we are having traffic jam all the time throughout the days. So that is the main headache. If they can do a dual carriage, like we've been hearing from Bomas all the way to Kiserian, then that will save us a lot. It is peaceful when you have your own house. Nobody will knock at your door asking for money like you do as you deal with the tenants. So we do not expect anybody to come at the gate to ask for money. So the bills we are left with is only to pay the electricity bills, water, yeah, maybe the servants here and there. What I would say is that I would like people with patience. Just be patient, because one day you'll own a house. And start saving as early as you can. Like I would advise the young people who are not able to save. Personally, I did savings from the time I was employed. I kept saving with a SACCO. And that is the SACCO that enabled me to get a loan, because you get loan against your savings, where you are given ×3 of what you have saved. Because even if you go to the bank, they will always ask you, how much do you have? They will not give you a loan just like that. They would want to see a security, and they would even ask you for a certain percentage in the account for them to be able to fund you.
That's all the time we had for you this lovely evening. We do hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. If you'd like to be featured on any of our segments, kindly write to us. We were here at the Panessa showroom on Mombasa Road, a beautiful place. I could live here. For real, I could live here. Beautiful pieces. Please check them out. Until next time, asante sana.